The spaceship hummed quietly as it drifted through the deep, dark space. Captain Jason Reed sat at the control panel, his hands steady on the console, eyes scanning the endless stretch of stars. He had seen many strange things in his life, but today, something unusual was about to happen. The ship had been sent on a routine mission to deliver medical supplies to the planet Zephora, a world inhabited by a small, curious alien race called the Lyrians. They were known for their advanced biology knowledge, but they had never studied humans up close. Jason had expected nothing more than a simple drop-off. Yet the Lyrians had sent a message that puzzled him. "Captain," said Dr. Mira Loon, the ship's biologist, her voice carrying a mix of curiosity and excitement. "The Lyrians want to examine human anatomy in ways we've never seen before." Jason raised an eyebrow. "Examine human anatomy? That's different. Anything dangerous?" Dr. Loon shook her head. "They said they only want to study, but they sent a note. They are very curious about human males specifically." Jason frowned. Humans had always been a mystery to aliens, but curiosity about men alone was unusual. Still, he trusted the mission would be safe. When the ship landed on Zephora, the Lyrians greeted them warmly. They were small, with translucent skin that shimmered under the planet's soft sun. Their eyes glowed faintly like tiny lanterns, giving them an almost magical appearance. "Welcome, humans," said Zyra, the Lyrian scientist in charge. "We have questions. Simple questions, but some may surprise you." Jason and Dr. Loon exchanged a quick glance. There was something unusual in Zyra's tone, an excitement that seemed more than scientific. They followed her to a large laboratory filled with strange instruments. Tubes glowed with colors Jason had never seen. Screens displayed intricate alien symbols that seemed alive, moving as though they had their own thoughts. Zyra motioned to Jason. "Human males, we are curious. We need to see how your body works in ways our books cannot explain. You will help us, yes?" Jason felt a mix of nervousness and curiosity. He had faced hostile aliens, rogue planets, and dangerous creatures, but this was different. Something about the way Zyra spoke made his heart beat faster. Dr. Loon, sensing his hesitation, whispered, "It's okay, Jason. They are scientists. They mean no harm." Jason nodded. "All right. Let's see what they want." Zyra led him to a strange chair that looked like it had been built for study. "Sit, it is safe," she said. Her glowing eyes studied him with intensity. "We want to understand a secret humans keep hidden." Jason's curiosity grew. "A secret humans keep?" he asked. Zyra smiled, a strange, knowing smile. "Yes, something very few aliens know. Something that may surprise all of Zephora." Jason's pulse quickened. He had been on many missions where humans amazed aliens with technology, strength, or courage. But this was different. The tension in the room grew like the calm before a storm. Then Zyra stepped closer. "You mean human males? Have a gift we never knew?" she said softly, her voice trembling with excitement. Jason froze. The word sounded odd, almost impossible. "Gift? What do you mean?" Zyra's hand hovered over a small device on the table. "We need proof," she said, her eyes locked on his. "It is the only way we can learn." Jason swallowed hard. He glanced at Dr. Loon, whose expression was calm but curious. I guess we have to show them. But carefully," he whispered. The lab was silent except for the soft hum of the spaceship equipment. Every movement, every sound seemed magnified. Jason felt the weight of curiosity, science, and the unknown pressing on him. This was not a battle with aliens. It was something far more delicate, something that could change how an entire species viewed humans. And as Zyra leaned closer, her glowing eyes wide with anticipation, Jason realized that this mission would be remembered for centuries, not for what humans could build or fight, but for what humans could naturally do. A secret that had never been revealed outside their species. The Lyrians waited. The moment stretched. The universe outside the lab was silent, holding its breath. Jason took a deep breath. "All right," he said softly. "Let's begin." The air inside the Lyrian lab was thick with quiet tension. Jason sat on the cold metal chair while Zyra, the alien scientist, studied him with wide, glowing eyes. Her team of researchers moved silently around the room, adjusting instruments and preparing scanners. Every machine hummed softly, giving the place a strange rhythm like a living heartbeat. Jason tried to stay calm, but curiosity from the alien crowd made him uneasy. These beings had never met a human before. They had read about humans in ancient records, tales of a strange species that thrived in harsh worlds, healed quickly, and survived almost anything. But none of them had expected humans to be so different. Zira turned to Jason, her voice filled with controlled excitement. We study thousands of species across the stars. None are like you. Your biology, it breaks rules. Jason gave a small, polite smile. We get that a lot. The Lyrians exchanged quick glances. Jason could see their confusion, their wonder. They didn't just want to understand humans, they wanted to feel what made them unique. Zira raised a glowing tablet. Your kind can survive both heat and cold. You breathe air filled with poison to others. You drink water that would melt our skin. And your females, they can create life and feed it from their own bodies. She paused, her tone softening. But what of your males? The question echoed in the lab. Jason blinked, unsure how to answer. He had faced space pirates, led rescue missions, even negotiated with warlords. But he had never been asked a question like that. Dr. Loon, standing behind him, smiled faintly. They mean no harm, Jason. They're trying to understand reproduction and nurturing across species. It's their culture to learn balance in life. Zira stepped closer, her silver hands trembling slightly. On our world, both male and female care for the young. We share that gift. But your records say only human females can give milk. Is that true? Jason chuckled nervously. Yes, that's true. Zira tilted her head, her expression thoughtful. Then why, she asked slowly, do some of your ancient records speak of males producing small amounts? When needed, Jason frowned. Old records? I'm not sure that's... But before he could finish, the Lyrian scanners flashed. The machine behind him beeped, showing new readings across its glowing surface. The symbols shifted from blue to gold, and Zira's expression changed from curiosity to shock. This cannot be, she whispered. It says your body holds dormant glands. Similar to our nurturing organs, Jason looked confused. Dormant glands? You mean? Zira nodded slowly, her eyes wide. It means human males may have the potential to produce nourishment too, hidden deep, unused, but real. The entire lab gasped. A few Lyrians whispered in awe. To them, this was not strange, it was sacred. On their world, the ability to nurture meant life itself. For a male of another species to share that potential, it broke everything they thought they knew. Jason tried to stay composed, but the room's energy made his heart race. You're saying I could? Zira smiled gently. Perhaps. Your body hides many secrets. We only wish to learn. Dr. Loon placed a hand on Jason's shoulder. This could change how they see humanity, she said softly. They see nurture as the highest form of strength. Zira looked at Jason with a mix of respect and wonder. Among our people, the ability to give life energy is the mark of a guardian. You may not know it, but your species carries that sign. Jason blinked. Guardian? Zira nodded. Yes, a protector of life. The room grew silent again. For the first time, Jason saw not just curiosity but reverence in the aliens' faces. They didn't see him as a test subject anymore. They saw him as something rare, something symbolic. But Jason wasn't sure how to handle that kind of attention. He stood slowly, looking around at the glowing eyes watching him. Look, he said gently, humans aren't special because of what we can do. We're special because we try. We fight for life. Maybe that's what you're sensing. Zira's expression softened. Perhaps, she whispered. But still, there is something ancient in your design. We must study further. For knowledge. For unity. Jason sighed but nodded. All right, just take it slow, Zira smiled, almost human-like. Agreed. Tomorrow we begin phase 2. We will see how your body reacts to our resonance field. Jason frowned. Resonance field? Dr. Loon's eyes widened. That's the energy that interacts directly with DNA. Jason, this could be dangerous. Zira raised a hand. No harm will come. Only truth. The tension returned. Jason could feel that something big was coming. Something that might reveal not just a secret about his body, but about humanity itself. As he left the lab, he looked back once more. The Lyrians were still staring at his scan, their glowing eyes filled with awe and fear. He didn't know it yet. But what they had discovered would spread across the galaxy by morning, an ancient truth hidden inside the human body that could unite or divide countless worlds. And as the lights of Zephora faded behind him, Jason whispered to himself, "What have we just started?" The next morning, the alien sun rose slowly over Zephora's pale blue sky, casting soft light through the transparent walls of the Lyrian laboratory. Jason hadn't slept much. His mind kept replaying Zira's words. Human males carry the mark of a guardian. It sounded like myth, not science. Yet the Lyrians treated it as sacred truth. Dr. Mira Loon stood beside him as he prepared for the new experiment. She noticed the dark circles under his eyes. "You didn't rest, did you?" she asked gently. Jason gave a tired smile. "How can I? They think humans are some kind of ancient miracle. And now they want to run something called a resonance field through my DNA. That doesn't sound like breakfast conversation." Mira chuckled softly, but concern remained in her eyes. "I'll be monitoring everything. If anything feels wrong, you stop immediately. Understood?" Jason nodded. Understood. The lab door opened with a soft hiss and Zira entered with her team. She carried a small device shaped like a crystal sphere, glowing faintly from within. The Lyrians followed her, carrying panels filled with shimmering lines of alien code. Zira spoke calmly, but her tone carried reverence. "This is the resonance core. It can read life energy, the very frequency that connects body, mind, and soul. Every species vibrates differently. We want to see how humans respond." Jason looked at the orb with quiet curiosity. "So it's like scanning my life force?" Zira nodded. "Exactly. But not just scanning, it harmonizes with it. The field around it will react if your body holds a hidden energy signature." Jason took a deep breath. "All right, let's get this over with." He stepped onto the platform. The Lyrian assistants surrounded him, attaching thin golden wires to his arms and chest. The surface beneath his feet was smooth, but he could feel a soft hum coming through it, a vibration that grew stronger each second. Zira placed the glowing sphere in front of him and began activating it. The lights in the room dimmed. The air changed. A faint pulse spread through the chamber, and Jason felt a strange warmth in his chest. It wasn't painful, just unfamiliar, like standing near a gentle thunderstorm. Dr. Loon watched the monitors nervously. His heart rate is steady, neural waves increasing slightly, but nothing dangerous yet. Zira's eyes glowed brighter as she studied the readings. Fascinating. Human energy is adapting to the resonance rather than resisting it. Jason exhaled slowly. "That's good, right?" Zira smiled faintly. "Very good. It means your body carries harmony within chaos. That is rare." But then something unexpected happened. The sphere flickered once, twice, and then began to shine brighter than before. The lights on the panel surged, lines of alien code racing faster than Zira could read. "Zira," Dr. Loon called out. "The readings are spiking." Zira's hands flew across the console. "No, it's not a malfunction, it's responding." The room filled with golden light. Jason felt his heartbeat echo through the air, like waves rippling across invisible water. For a brief moment, he wasn't standing in a lab anymore. He was surrounded by something vast, alive and ancient. Images flashed through his mind, stars being born, worlds forming, beings of light and shadow crossing endless space. He heard voices, whispers from ages long gone. It was overwhelming yet strangely peaceful. Then just as suddenly the light faded. Jason fell to one knee, breathing hard. Dr. Loon rushed to him. "Jason, are you okay?" He nodded weakly. "Yeah, just dizzy." "What happened?" Zira's voice trembled with awe. "The resonance core reacted to your internal frequency and changed its color. It has never done that before. The field turned gold, the color of creation." Jason blinked. "Creation?" Zira nodded slowly. "Yes. Among our people, gold resonance means the life frequency of a world guardian, a being who can bring balance to dying systems." Jason frowned, still catching his breath. "You mean my body did that?" Zira placed her hand over the glowing sphere. "It wasn't just your body. It was your essence, your kind. Carries something in your DNA that connects to the universe's oldest energy." The Lyrians around her whispered softly, bowing their heads in respect. To them, this wasn't science anymore. It was faith being proven true. Dr. Loon looked at Zira sharply. "You're saying humans are linked to cosmic balance?" Zira met her gaze. "Yes, perhaps that is why humans survive everything. War, famine, chaos. You were never just a species. You were the universe's way of remembering order. Jason rubbed his temples. You're making me sound like a superhero. I'm just a guy who flies a ship. Zira smiled gently. Even simple stars burn with the light of creation. You may not see it, but the universe does. Jason looked around the lab, feeling both humbled and uneasy. Delirian stared at him like he was something divine. He didn't want worship. He wanted understanding. Before he could speak again, the lights flickered. The resonance core pulsed once more, this time sending out a faint wave that rippled through the entire base. Outside, the sky shimmered briefly as though the planet itself had responded. Zira looked out the window, stunned. The core has awakened the planet's energy field. It's never happened before. Jason felt a chill. You mean, it reacted to me? Zira nodded slowly. Yes, Captain. Zyphora has heard you. The silence that followed was heavy and filled with wonder. Jason looked up at the golden sphere, still glowing softly. Then I guess, he whispered, this just got a lot bigger than science. The golden glow still lingered in the air long after the experiment ended, drifting like faint dust made of light. Jason stood in silence, feeling the hum beneath his boots. It wasn't just the machines anymore. The whole planet seemed to be vibrating, breathing in rhythm with him. Dr. Mira Loon stared at the monitors. The readings were impossible. Jason, she whispered, Zyphora's magnetic field just spiked across all poles at once. It's reacting to you so as if your energy synced with the planet. Jason tried to laugh it off, but his voice came out uneven. Planets don't react to people, Mira. They don't feel things. But Zira, the Lyrian scientist, didn't laugh. She stood still, her glowing eyes wide with a mix of awe and fear. They do, Captain, she said softly. At least Zyphora does. Our world is alive. It feels energy, and yours has stirred it awake. Jason turned toward her. You mean to tell me this planet is alive? Zira nodded slowly. Not alive as you understand life, but conscious. It senses emotion, resonance, harmony. It has slept for 1,000 cycles, and now it's listening again. Outside the lab's transparent walls, strange lights began to shimmer across the horizon. Rivers that once flowed blue turned gold for a moment as if liquid sunlight ran through them. Trees bent slightly in Jason's direction, their leaves trembling though no wind blew. The Lyrians fell to their knees, whispering prayers in their language. Jason looked around, overwhelmed. Hey, I didn't do anything. I just stood there. Zira approached him slowly, her hands trembling. You did something, Jason Reed. The resonance experiment didn't just reveal your energy. It bonded your life frequency with Zyphora's core. You and the planet are now connected. Jason blinked, unsure how to even respond. Connected? What does that even mean? Dr. Loon spoke quickly, scanning her tablet. If she's right, your body is now producing the same energy pattern as Zyphora's magnetic field. In theory, if the planet's energy shifts, yours will too. Jason's pulse quickened. So, if something happens to this planet, it could affect you, Mira finished quietly. The realization hit him like a wave. He wasn't just a visitor anymore. He was part of Zyphora now, whether he wanted to be or not. Suddenly the ground trembled. Lights flickered. A deep rumble echoed from beneath the surface. The Lyrians gasped and ran to stabilize the instruments. The resonant sphere on the platform began to glow again, pulsing faster with every second. Zira shouted, The core is calling back to him. It's trying to complete the bond. Jason stumbled forward, gripping the edge of a console. Stop it, shut it down. Mira slammed her hand on the emergency control panel, but the system didn't respond. It's not working. The field has merged. It's using its own power source now. The lab filled with bright light. Jason felt energy flooding through his body, burning and cold at the same time. His heartbeat echoed in the walls like thunder. For a brief moment he saw visions again, this time clearer, sharper. He saw Zyphora's core deep beneath the surface, a glowing heart of light pulsing in time with his own. He heard whispers in a language he couldn't understand. Then the voice became clear. It wasn't coming from any speaker. It was inside his mind. Guardian, you have returned. Jason froze. The voice was soft but powerful, like the wind speaking through mountains. Who are you? He whispered aloud. The voice replied, I am Zyphora. I have waited for your kind. The universe remembers the light you carry. Mira and Zira watched helplessly as Jason's body glowed faintly, golden lines tracing his veins like fire. He seemed frozen between two worlds. Jason! Mira shouted, shaking his arm. Can you hear me? He blinked, dazed. I can hear both of you. And something else. Zira stared at him with wide eyes. The planet is communicating through him. He's becoming its voice. Jason steadied his breathing. It says it remembers humans. Says we've been here before. Long ago, Mira frowned. That's impossible. Humans never came to Zyphora before. Sarah's expression turned distant. Unless your species was older than we ever believed. The ground rumbled again, but this time it wasn't violent. The lights outside shifted into swirling patterns, forming symbols in the air. Human symbols. Mira's mouth fell open. Jason, those are Earth patterns. DNA sequences. Jason looked down at his hands, glowing softly. It's showing me something ancient. Maybe we didn't come from Earth alone. Maybe we came from the stars first, Zira whispered. The Guardian line. It's real. Jason's voice trembled. It says it's been waiting for humanity to wake it again. Waiting for balance to return. Zira turned to her people. Prepare the planetary translators. We must document this. The legend was true. The universe's guardians walk among humans. Jason took a deep breath, his pulse slowing as the golden light dimmed. Tell your planet, I didn't mean to wake it. The voice in his mind replied one last time. You did not wake me, Guardian. You reminded me what life feels like. The light faded completely and the room fell silent. Jason collapsed to one knee again, gasping. Mira caught him, steadying him. Zira knelt beside them, her glowing eyes full of wonder. Captain, Zyphora is alive again because of you. This is only the beginning. Jason looked up weakly. Then we'd better hope the universe is ready for it. The morning after the awakening was unlike any Jason had ever seen. The alien sky glowed with strange golden clouds that formed symbols, shapes he somehow recognized, though he didn't know why. They looked like old carvings, like the ancient patterns seen on Earth's oldest temples. Zira and her team worked endlessly through the night, trying to understand what had happened. But even the most advanced Lyrian scanners couldn't explain it. The planet itself had spoken, and its words were still echoing in Jason's mind. He sat near the observation deck, watching Zyphora's twin suns rise. Dr. Mira Loon joined him, holding a small tablet filled with data. You've been quiet, she said softly. Any more voices? Jason shook his head. No, it's quiet now. Too quiet. But the symbols, everywhere I look, they feel familiar, like I've seen them before. Mira sighed, showing him the readings. Zyphora's magnetic pulse has stabilized, but something's spreading. Energy readings are being detected from other systems. Planets hundreds of light years away are resonating with Zyphora's frequency. Jason looked up sharply. You mean this isn't stopping here? She nodded. Whatever bond you created, it's traveling through space. Before they could say more, Zira entered the deck, her face pale with awe. Captain Reed, Dr. Loon, you must see this. They followed her to the lab, where a holographic projection filled the room. Thousands of light points glimmered across the star map. Each one pulsed in rhythm, slow, steady, and golden. Zira gestured toward the display. These are not stars. These are worlds responding to Zyphora's call. The resonance field has awakened across multiple systems. Jason stared at the lights. How many worlds are we talking about? Zira looked down, almost whispering. All of them that once held life connected to your frequency. Mira frowned. Connected to humans? Zira nodded. Yes. Long ago, before any of us existed, the universe knew a race that spread not by ships, but by resonance, by sharing their life energy with newborn worlds. Those worlds became fertile, full of life. They called them seeders, Jason blinked. You're saying humans were those seeders? Zira met his eyes. Your kind may have been the first to bring balance between matter and life. The first to breathe consciousness into planets. Jason couldn't speak. It sounded impossible. But after what happened yesterday, impossible no longer meant much. He turned to Mira. What if Earth wasn't our first home? What if it was just the last one left? Mira stared at the data. If that's true, it changes everything. Humanity isn't just one species on one planet. It's part of something much older. Zira stepped closer to the hologram, her glowing eyes reflecting the stars. The legends of the Guardians said they would one day return when the universe began to fall out of harmony. Perhaps that time has come. Jason looked uneasy. If the other worlds are awakening, that means others can sense it too. And not everyone will see this as a miracle. Right on cue, a sharp alarm rang through the ship. Mira rushed to the console. Incoming transmission from orbit. Zyra's hands shook slightly as she accepted the signal. A deep rumbling voice echoed through the lab. This is Commander Vector of the Karth Dominion. Zephora has broken interstellar silence. Identify the human who activated the resonance. Jason felt his stomach tighten. They already know, Zyra whispered. The Karth. They control half this quadrant. They believe in domination through energy suppression. If they realize the Guardians are back, they'll destroy us, Mira finished grimly. The hologram flickered, showing a massive fleet of black ships orbiting the planet. Their engines glowed red, pulsing with power. The message continued. Deactivate your core or we will open fire. Jason clenched his fists. We can't fight them. Zephora just woke up, it's defenseless. But then the lights in the room flickered again. The planet itself seemed to pulse harder, its rhythm matching Jason's heartbeat. The voice in his head returned, calm but firm. Do not fear, Guardian. My children will protect you. Jason's eyes widened. It's speaking again. Zyra looked at him. What is it saying? Before Jason could answer, the ground trembled. Outside, the golden rivers began to swirl violently, and enormous structures rose from beneath the surface. Ancient towers made of glowing crystal. Each tower pointed toward the sky, forming a shield of energy around the planet. The Karth fleet fired. Red plasma bolts struck the barrier, but every shot was absorbed, turning into light. The entire world shone like a star. Mira stared in disbelief. The planet's defending itself. Jason stood tall, feeling the same pulse through his chest. No, it's defending us. Zyra turned to him, her voice full of emotion. The Guardian bond has awakened the defense grid from before history. You've reconnected Zephora to its ancient purpose. Jason looked at the burning sky, the golden shield reflecting enemy fire. Then let's make sure it survives this time. Zyra smiled faintly. You are more than a captain now, Jason Reed. You are the bridge between life and the stars. The golden light grew stronger, pushing back the darkness above. Jason could feel the planet's heartbeat syncing with his again. And as the Karth ships began to retreat, frightened by the power they couldn't understand, one thought echoed in Jason's mind. If humans once awakened worlds, then somewhere out there, more were waiting to be found. The battle in orbit had ended hours ago, but the echoes of it still rippled through Zephora's atmosphere. The once calm skies shimmered faintly, golden light dancing like the memory of fireflies. Jason stood near the planet's defense towers, now silent and still, trying to process what had happened. He had watched an entire fleet retreat because a living world had chosen to defend him. Dr. Mira Loon approached quietly. The Karth ships are gone for now, she said. But the energy burst we released will be detected across the sector. More will come. Jason nodded slowly, his gaze fixed on the horizon. Then we need answers before they do. Zyra joined them, carrying a crystalline tablet glowing with new data. Her face carried both excitement and concern. Captain Reed, the planet has transmitted something to us through the resonance link, a series of coordinates. Jason turned toward her. Coordinates? To where? Zyra took a deep breath. Another world. The signal pattern matches Zephora's resonance frequency, almost like a sibling planet. Mira leaned over the tablet. If that's true, then it's another world seeded by the same ancient humans. Jason's pulse quickened. Another seeded world. Still alive? Zyra nodded. Possibly. But the signal is weak, fading. If we don't reach it soon, it may disappear forever. Jason looked out at the golden sky. Then we leave now. Within hours, the human ship Odyssey lifted from Zephora's surface, guided by both Mira's precision and the planet's parting light. As they broke through the clouds, Jason could feel a faint pulse in his chest again. The bond between him and Zephora had not vanished. Zyra monitored the readings closely. The planet's consciousness remains connected to you, Captain. It's as if it granted you a part of its core energy. Jason smiled faintly. Guess I'm carrying a piece of a world inside me. The journey to the coordinates took them beyond known space, through dark regions of the galaxy where starlight faded and navigation systems failed. Yet the golden pulse guided them like an invisible beacon. Days passed in uneasy silence. Finally, as the ship crossed the edge of a dying nebula, something appeared on the scanners, a planet half buried in shadow. Its surface looked fractured, its atmosphere thin, like a world that had forgotten to breathe. Mira studied the readings. There's life, barely. Energy levels are unstable. This world is fading. Jason looked at Zira. Could this be another seeded world? Zira nodded slowly. It matches the resonance signature exactly, but it's collapsing. The bond that once gave it life is nearly gone. They descended through a stormy sky. The clouds crackled with pale lightning, revealing ruins below. Ancient stone towers covered in carvings, worn down by ages. The ship landed near one that still stood tall, its symbols glowing faintly when Jason stepped outside. As soon as his boots touched the ground, the pulse inside his chest grew stronger. The air thickened and faint whispers filled his mind again. Guardian, you have found the lost cradle. Jason froze. It's speaking again, he whispered. Mira and Zira exchanged glances. What is it saying? Jason closed his eyes, focusing on the voice. It says this world was once part of the same creation, but its guardian fell. Without the bond, it's dying. Zira placed her hand on one of the glowing stones. Can you restore it? Jason shook his head. I don't know how. The voice grew clearer inside him. Share the light you carry. The gift of balance flows through your heart. Jason exhaled slowly, his heartbeat syncing with the glow on the ruins. He extended his hands toward the symbols. Golden light rippled from his palms, running across the carvings like rivers of warmth. The ground shook, and deep below, the planet seemed to breathe again. Mira stepped back, shielding her eyes. Jason, the energy output is massive. Zira stared in awe. He's transferring part of Zephora's resonance to this world. He's giving it life. Jason gritted his teeth, feeling the power surge through him. His vision blurred, but he didn't stop. He could feel the second planet awakening, remembering what it once was. The light spread from the ruins to the horizon, turning the gray soil into shimmering green. The clouds parted, revealing a blue sky that hadn't existed for centuries. Then the voice spoke again, softer this time. The chain restores, but danger follows light. The connection broke. Jason collapsed to his knees, gasping. Mira ran to him, checking his pulse. You're burning up. Zira scanned him quickly. His energy levels dropped by 60%. The resonance exchange nearly drained him. Jason managed a weak smile. But it worked, didn't it? Zira looked toward the horizon where new light now covered the once dead world. It worked. You saved it. Mira frowned. But what did the voice mean? Danger follows light? The answer came moments later. The ship's alarm blared. Zira rushed to the console, her face turning pale. Multiple warp signatures approaching. The Karth Dominion has traced the energy wave. They're coming for us. Jason forced himself to stand, eyes still glowing faintly with golden light. Then it's time we stop running. Zira looked at him, confused. What do you mean? He gazed at the brightening sky. We can't hide the light anymore. If the Guardians once awakened worlds, then it's time we awaken them all. Mira stared at him, realizing what he was planning. Jason, that could change the galaxy. Jason smiled faintly. Maybe that's the point. The sky above the revived world burned with twin colors, one golden, one crimson. The light from the reborn planet clashed with the glow of the approaching Karth fleet. Jason stood on a high ridge, the wind tearing through his jacket, staring at the vast shadows descending through the clouds. Behind him, Zira and Dr. Mira Loon worked at the ship's console, desperately transmitting data to nearby systems. They've surrounded us, Mira said, her voice low but steady. 3 command ships, a dozen cruisers. We can't outfly them this time. Jason's jaw tightened. Then we stand our ground. Zira turned toward him, fear and admiration flickering in her glowing eyes. You carry the energy of 2 awakened worlds now. If you use it recklessly, your body won't survive the transfer. Jason smiled faintly. Good thing I've never been great at playing it safe. The ground rumbled beneath them. The planet, newly alive, seemed to respond to Jason's heartbeat again. Gold veins of light spread across the soil, connecting the old ruins like glowing rivers. From above, the Karth fleet began to descend, their red energy cannons preparing to fire. A transmission came through, sharp and cruel. "Human, you will surrender your resonance energy or be erased from existence." Jason looked to Zira and Mira. "If I surrender, they'll drain the planet dry. Every life form here will die again. If I resist, I might take this whole world with me." Mira's eyes filled with tears. "Jason, there has to be another way." He looked down at his hands, now faintly glowing. "Maybe there is." He stepped forward and knelt, pressing his palm against the ground. "Cyphora, Cradle, if you can hear me across the stars, lend me your strength one last time." The air grew still. For a moment, everything was silent. Then the voice returned, not one, but two this time. One from Zephora, one from the newly revived world. "Guardian, your light connects us. The chain is incomplete. One last world sleeps beyond the dark veil. If it awakens, the balance will be restored." Jason's breath caught. "You mean there's a third world?" Zyra nodded as the coordinates appeared on her screen. "Yes, but it's beyond the Karth's war zone. Reaching it will take everything we have." The Karth fleet opened fire. Red energy storms rained down. Explosions shook the planet's surface. Jason stood firm as the golden light around him brightened. Mira shouted, "Jason, they'll burn the whole planet." Jason closed his eyes. "Not if I give them something they can't destroy." He spread his arms wide, and the golden energy erupted from his body, forming a massive dome of light that covered the ruins. The blasts struck the barrier but dissolved instantly, turning the sky into a storm of radiance. The Karth commander's voice roared through the comms. "Impossible! No living being can generate that power." Jason's voice echoed back, calm and strong. "That's because I'm not doing it alone." The planet responded. Massive crystal towers rose again, glowing brighter than ever. The newly reborn world, its consciousness awakened, joined Jason's energy. The dome expanded outward, forcing the Karth fleet to retreat higher into orbit. But Jason's strength began to fade. The light flickered, and his body trembled. "Jason!" Mira screamed. "Stop, you'll die!" He looked at her with a weak smile. "If humanity really were the Cedars, then this is what we were made for, to give life, no matter the cost." The golden glow reached its peak. The two awakened planets pulsed in unison, sending a powerful beam into the void of space. The energy formed a bridge between the stars, an invisible thread leading to the third sleeping world. Zira stared in wonder. He's linking them. He's completing the chain. The Karth fleet tried to interfere, but their ship's systems failed as the resonance overpowered their technology. One by one, the crimson ships went dark, drifting helplessly in the cosmic light. Then, far beyond the visible stars, another light answered. A faint, distant pulse. The third world was waking. Jason's body glowed brighter, almost transparent now. Mira held his arm, tears falling freely. "Please, Jason, come back. You've done enough." He smiled, his voice soft but clear. "Tell them. Tell Earth. We were never just survivors. We were guardians all along." The light burst outward one final time, engulfing the sky. The Karth ships vanished in the brilliance. Every corner of the galaxy that had once fallen silent now pulsed with golden light. Planets awakening, systems humming, life stirring again. When the light faded, the ridge was empty. Only Jason's footprints remained, glowing faintly before slowly fading into the soil. Zyra and Mira stood in silence. The newly awakened world was alive. The Karth were gone. And in the heavens above, 3 golden stars now pulsed in perfect harmony. Mira whispered, "He's part of them now. Forever." Zira smiled sadly. "No. He's not gone. He's everywhere life still breathes. And across the vast galaxy, Wherever light touched a world, a faint heartbeat echoed in reply. The rhythm of a human who had awakened the stars.